Hey everyone, thanks for joining us today for our Practifi Protect demo. My name is Allison and I'm a product marketing manager at Practifi. I'm also joined by Tim Hyland, our head of product strategy, who will be presenting today. With over 30 years experience in the wealth management industry, Tim has seen firsthand how cybercrime has developed over time. As a previous owner of an RIA himself, he also understands the concerns firms have and the complexity of keeping up with ever-changing cybersecurity regulations. Today, Tim is going to touch on a few of these topics and explain how Practifi Protect helps RIAs elevate their approach to cybersecurity. If you'd like to learn more about Practifi Protect after this demo, please get in touch with your client success manager or reach out to a member of our team. So, without further ado, Tim, I'll hand it over to you.
Hi, Ellie. Thanks. Great. So let's talk about the top concerns of all of you as RIAs. And obviously, the biggest thing is protecting your client data from external parties, expecting it from cyber attacks, from hackers, from all of the things that are going on. Obviously, this is all on the increase. It's becoming very prevalent throughout in all industries across the globe. So it's very important that you have a cyber security policy. It right now is in the SEC's hands to expand on that. So obviously, this is going to be something that's only going to grow in order for you to continue to protect your clients' data and be able to have information that shows that you have policies and procedures in place to do so. Not only are you protecting your client data from external parties and bad actors from outside that, you also are looking to protect your client data from internal bad actors. So also the ability to really make sure you know what's going on inside of your organization, who has access to your client data. You may have situations that we hear about all the time where individuals become disgruntled within their organization and have access to very private information. And then they have the ability to access that data, extract that data, do all kinds of different things. So obviously, this is of paramount importance, and this as well is something that you will need to be able to have some policies and procedures in place that you're able to document and share with regulators in any audit. The other thing that is important, we know, is to monitor who's logging in and from where, and keeping track of where all of your data is really accessible from. So many teams work remotely. There's a lot going on from that perspective today in the world in which we live. So it's really important that you have the ability to kind of monitor, report, and track the activity and the movements in and out of not only just your users, but other organizations that are coming in and out of the platform and access to it. So it's really important to know where they're coming in from and any other sort of network security that happens to be happening. So because of these top three concerns, let's talk a little bit about some of the base functionality that we have today within Practifi that covers some of this. So Practifi today has a lot of compliance capability to meet your needs at its base offering. So number one, there is encryption today, and it's encryption in transit. So it's when data is encrypted when it's moving between different resources and different integrations and so forth. So that is standard within the base platform of Practifi. Also, in addition, you have the multi-factor authentication and single sign-on that is available as base offering as well. Being able to use multi-factor authentication is something that is becoming the standard and norm of the industry, and is also going to be, required in the future, just along the Practifi lines. In addition to that, also you have the ability to control the roles and the permissions at the user level within your organization. You have the ability to say who can see what they can see, how that information is accessible and viewable to different people within that organization by the roles and permissions that you set up. You also have what is certainly a secure website. You have the HTTPS encryption, very much standard, industry standard set, including the use of the secure firewalls, and also having some of the highest level security within the data centers in which your data resides in Practifi. Practifi uses the Salesforce data centers as we run on the Salesforce platform. And they have set the standard from an encryption level and a security level, and certainly has set some great standards on their track record around security breaches. So next, let's talk a little bit about Practifi Protect. So this is where some of our partners want to go a little bit deeper, want a little extra layer of protection. So with Practifi Protect, we are able to do that through encrypting first the data at rest. So this is taking and encrypting all of the information and fields that are within Practifi, and as they sit on those servers and as they sit daily in use, all of those data points are being encrypted. So the ability for somebody to access that information and come in and be able to see that while it's sitting in the platform itself, anybody unauthorized to be in there, that data is unreadable and still encrypted. The second thing that we add to is then the event monitoring as well. So you can have another layer of event monitoring, which basically provides a very detailed visibility into user activity within the Practifi org. This helps you to kind of investigate or detect in any suspicious or unauthorized access, which is essential to providing those sort of reports and that sort of information back to regulators and part of your security monitoring policies. The third thing then is the field audit trails. We then have the ability to track any changes made to specific fields in any records. This gets much more granular than the standard level of encryption that is there, and certainly gets very granular in its auditing. It could be really, really important, particularly in the financial services space, where client data can be changed and altered, and you certainly have to share back what was the client's investment objectives and other things like that. So any changes that are made to that sort of data in here and that were utilized in any sort of paperwork or compliance environment, you want to be able to track whether any of those fields have been audited, when they've been audited, and be able to report that back to regulators. So let's show you some of how Practifi Protect can work. Here we're ready to show you exactly what Practifi Protect looks like. So this is the system administrator pages in the Analytics Studio. You're looking at the home page. So when your CISO or when your admin that's responsible for this work is, in there, here's what they see. There's a ton of reports that come along with Practifi, very standard reports inside of the Protect product. But what we're going to do is we're going to go through just a few. It's very easy for your team to create a collection of some of the key reports that they like. So let's talk about a few of those right now that we'll go through. So one of the big ones we had talked about earlier is logins. So logins are vastly important. Nowadays, you have many, many of our advisors that are working remotely, many of our advisors that are working from, visiting clients at their homes, visiting clients in Starbucks and all these other places they're out on the road face-to-face with clients. So you want to be able to monitor all of the access and where that access points are within your org, because then that gives them access to all the secure data and all that private data that's inside of Practifi. So this is a report, very standard inside of our system, in which you can find out where people are logging in, your users are logging in from, what IP addresses, keeping track of that. So this is vital information that you will have. You'll be able to download and store this image and certainly share it in any regulatory audit that you would have around cybersecurity. So good documentation, good information to have and be able to store for regulation purposes. The second report that we've got is about auditing all of the things that are going on inside of your org on a day-to-day basis. So you will end up having consultants that potentially are working in your org. You have Salesforce admins on your org that may be working on that. They may be altering workflows. They may be altering different sort of apps or tools that have been added to your org in a managed or unmanaged package. All of that can be monitored through this audit trail report. You're tracking all of the different sort of activities and changes and functionality that are going on within your org. Again, another report that you can show and have documentation ready to any sort of auditor that comes along from the regulators to show them exactly what's been happening in that. So the third report then that we have is where you have the ability to kind of track all those great reports that you're using on a daily basis within Practifi. And whether it's a report for client list and things along that nature, it could be a report about certain activities going on. But here's where your CISO and again, your compliance people can monitor who's accessing those reports, where they're accessing them from. Are they downloading that data in those reports out of the system? All of that information is important. And as you can see here, we've got some activity that we'll show and we'll call out. So Alberto Sanchez, one of our advisors, has pulled this same high net worth report 3 times. So why is it doing that? So that creates some curiosity, some suspicion. So compliance, and again, others can go in and find out exactly and question Alberto about what they're doing. And let's say we discover that Alberto is doing some things that we just maybe don't feel he should be doing. And maybe he probably shouldn't any longer have access to this report. So we do have ways of then we have a policy around these reports and having them downloaded, but we can jump to our transaction security policies. Again, this would be done by your CISO. This would be done by somebody in compliance that's responsible for this. And if we were to click on the Odyssey RIA high net worth report list, this is the security policy. Again, it's very shareable with compliance and regulators. You see that we have a rule that would block this report from being accessed. If we go in and we edit this report and we want to call out Alberto specifically, we can basically just add a condition to take that user and by his username and remove him from that report. A few clicks, a couple saves, and off we go. Alberto no longer has access to that report. So this is a way in which you can control the data that is accessible within the system and the reports that are within the system at a few simple clicks. So next, we want to talk about the encryption. We talked about it earlier. We want to talk about the encryption of the fields. So again, as we mentioned, we have standard to Practifi is encryption in transit, but now we want to talk about the encryption at rest. So these are the fields at rest that are inside of the Practifi org, and all of these fields can be encrypted. There are some best practices that we have established that we certainly say should be encrypted. So you can roll down and see all of the different fields by object that are encryptable. You have a couple of choices around encryption that our implementation team will help you choose a best practice around that. But as you can see, there is many fields by object that are encryptable. Now, again, there could be some situations where in Practifi, as an example, we have some fields that are custom to our product. And so you also have the ability to encrypt those custom fields as well. So let's just take an example here. And on the contact object, obviously one that everybody wants to encrypt is the Social Security field. Very important field. We all think about it every day. These things can be masked as well, but you want to encrypt it so that when it's at rest, it's not readable by any external or internal parties. So by going through this, you can see that a couple of quick searches by, again, your Salesforce admin, compliance person, you basically go through, search, and pick that field Social Security number, and then go through and edit and click encrypt. You can choose the different sort of compliance capabilities, but a couple of clicks on the encryption and the type of encryption that you'd like to use, and then hitting save, and we're done. Now that field has been encrypted. And again, in most cases, for most of our clients, that is set up in the configuration with our implementation teams. So that's a lot of what we wanted to show you from the Practifi Protect demo. So let's now take a look at a couple of common questions that we receive from many of our clients. Refresh. But this is obviously very important. So is it possible to automate alerts if certain users download specific reports? Yes. It's kind of what we started to go down the path. We showed you the monitoring that we can do around any reports being downloaded with the dashboard. You can set up policies where certain people would not have access to it. They can be blocked, or you can get automation sent to compliance, to the head of the firm, to your CISO or anybody if a particular user is doing any downloads on those reports. So very easy to do, very easy to set up, very much part of the core functionality of Practifi Protect. Is it possible to automate notifications when there's suspicious login activity? Again, yes. Same sort of thing. You can certainly block certain IP addresses. You can do different things. And all of those notifications can be sent off to multiple people, singular people, just depending on what you guys want to do and how you want to set it up. But there is just certainly a lot of options that are available to you in order to do that. And the last and final question for this session is that how do we know if the social security numbers or any other credit cards that we may have in there, bank accounts or anything like that, are encrypted or not? So again, you would have your team member, your Salesforce administrator for your Practifi Protect, go in, take a look, and with a few simple clicks, as we just showed you, they can either look and see that it's encrypted already, or if it's not encrypted, a few more clicks and they have that field encrypted going forward. So again, hopefully it answers a lot of your questions, gives you some insight into Practifi Protect, and appreciate your time.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Tim, for running us through all of that. Really appreciate your valuable insights and for showing us how Practifi helps RIAs improve their approach to cybersecurity. It was really helpful to hear about Practifi's base platform security and the additional capabilities that Practifi Protect provides. If you have any further questions about Practifi Protect, please reach out to your client success manager or a member of our team to learn more. Thanks again for your time today, and we hope to see you again soon.